friends, my name is Joey. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here because I got my 2 boxes that I get directly from the Czech Republic. This is the second one. I already posted the video that I did with the first box. It's really adorable this month. But if you are not familiar, the company is called Kraftika, and they offer 2 different monthly subscription boxes, and this is one of them. It's called Bohem style. It always comes in this adorable little window box. And what's wonderful and special about this box in particular is that if you are brand new to jewelry making, this is a full kit with all of the findings and everything that you need to make 2 pieces of jewelry. And if you are a person that loves the handiwork of making jewelry, but you don't love curating things, pulling together your supplies, it's wonderful for you as well because everything is here for you. If you're like me and you have been making jewelry for a long time and you like to do your own things with high quality beads and beautiful supplies, this is perfect for you as well. So with no further ado, look how beautiful this month's box is. It's so perfect for spring. So when you get this box, you will get an insert that shows you a thumbnail picture of the projects that you have everything to make. And on this insert, you also get a code that takes you to a video tutorial. So as I said, if you're new, this is wonderful because it's instant gratification. You're going to put this together, you've done the work, and it's just beautiful. And this is a fun, easy stringing project that's multi-layer necklace and a matching bracelet. So you literally come away with a set of jewelry. You'll also get a little insert in the box that gives you a discount code so you can go on their website and get a discount on beads and findings. So it's a wonderful box. I absolutely love getting it, and the team at Kraftika have been doing something just so lovely for us makers. They've been putting little gifts in the box, and this month our little gift was absolutely a delicious, it's like a really soft bubblegum pink cotton cord jewelry quality. And I'm going to use this in my project. So I'm going to show you really quickly what's in the box and jump into a project. I almost always do my own thing with the beads, and I love the beads. I love the collection and the curation of it, but I, just like to design and do my own thing. I have an interior design background, and so, that's fine. You get the box, and if you just need to do something with your hands, follow the tutorial and make the pieces, or play with the beads and do your own thing. The bead police will not come and take you away if you, make your own thing and don't do the project with the box. So I always like to say that, but this is a kit. Just to be clear, this is a kit with everything you need. And this month there was this beautiful little disc chain. It's so lovely and it's so fluid and lightweight. It's just a lovely little chain. And then there were 2 beautiful charms that are a tri-leaf, 3 little leaves, extremely detailed and embossed, just beautiful. Let me get a little piece of wire. And I absolutely love these bell flowers. 2 colorways in this, and pretty much everything has the Picasso wash on it. But what's interesting about this month's collection is there's like a high gloss sheen on all the beads in the collection. I really, really love it. And then this is one of my favorite Czech glass leaves. And again, the 2 colorways, this beautiful, it's a turquoise green, or there's a little bit of light and dark in the turquoise, but it's so fresh and pretty for spring. And this is like a really soft raspberry pink. The colorway in this is just gorgeous. These leaves are 2-sided and I absolutely love them. You can string them, you can put head pins through them. I love playing with these. I have a lot of these Czech glass leaves in my collection, but I do not have these colors for sure. And this is a favorite Czech glass bead of mine. It is a dimensional triangle bead. And we also got the same 2 colors in that, but I love playing with the different ways of stringing this. You can string it together with the fat side of the triangle together and you get a look of a bead that way, but you can also turn it around and string it where the skinny end of the triangle is together and you get a totally different look. I love playing with that geometry. And then we got these beautiful 8mm drucks. That's a smooth round Czech glass bead with a beautiful finish, both colorways in that. And then we got a 6mm Czech glass faceted round in those same two colorways. That's one of my favorite beads on the planet. It's maybe seems common, but I love it. It's so useful. I reach for it all the time. Another favorite of mine is Czech glass donut beads and disc beads, and anything that's kind of rondelle shaped like this is absolutely wonderful. I love to play with stacking discs for different textural looks. It's so fun, and you get such a great look in your in your project when you stack discs. Unusual, unexpected looks sometimes. And we got another little druck in, looks like this is 4mm in the same colorway. So the project, the stringing project, the bracelet and necklace is so fun to make, but with all of these different opportunities to mix and match, it's so fun. This is another beautiful, looks like this might be a 6/0 seed bead or like a little silver rondelle or disc spacer. I love that. But I'm going to do, I want to show you one more thing before I jump into my project. I'm a little bit excited to start my project. I've been thinking about it since I got the box yesterday late in the afternoon, and I'm like ready to go. When I saw that pink cord, this is probably my favorite color on the planet. I love all pinks and berries and purples, but this particular pink, I don't know, it's perfect. It's not really a blush pink. It's got a little bit more depth of color than that, but that is my perfect color on this planet. It's in Joey land. Everything is painted that color pink. But you also, as I said, this is a kit, so you get everything that you need for the project. So these gorgeous little ball head pins, a piece of curb chain, that's probably your extender chain. I haven't gone to, here's another piece of curb chain. I haven't gone to the video link yet to actually have a close-up look of the project, but there's a smaller, little bit heavier gauge curb chain, a little bit lighter, more open piece of curb chain. Your lobster claw clasps are there. Your bead stringing wire is there. The Kraftika people always use the crimps that are super easy. They are flat crimp beads. So you just string the bead on and smash it and you are crimped. So again, if you are newer to jewelry making, you can do this. You definitely can do this. I love that they give us oval jump rings. They do this quite often. It's just a little like step up with a jump ring. And for charms and things like that, they hang more nicely in that oval shape. And then we got some little round jump rings. And again, I haven't gone to actually watch the video tutorial, so I'm not sure exactly where they've placed all of these supplies, but as you can see, everything is here for you. But I am going to jump into my own little project here, and I'm going to bring in some things from my stash. I will be using some of these really fine gold-plated ball head pins. I'm not sure how many I'm going to need, so I'm just going to put some out here. I also have gone into my stash and pulled out some gold-filled spacer beads that have kind of a large hole. It will not fit over this cord, but I'm going to do a knotted, let's see, what is this? It's all the things. It's going to be a knotted bracelet, a charm bracelet, and a wrap bracelet. So it's going to be cool, I think. I also have these little gold-plated wavy disc spacers. And then I have another little dish here with, I've taken a flower head pin. This is going to be the final charm or drop on my extender chain for my bracelet, and I just wanted to have it kind of represent the flower garden vibe in this box. So that's kind of stacked and ready to go. And then I have these rose, let me get my fingers out of the way. Where's my little piece of wire? Here it is. I have these rose spacer beads that I just had in my stash, and they have a large enough hole to go over the cord, and I have decided to add into the color palette some crystal with a super large hole that I had. It's a craft store item. And then I think some white faceted rondelle crystals as well. I really liked, let me just pick everything up. I really liked the pink, white, gold, and that like spring green. I just think it's such a pretty fresh color combination. So I've put those things out here. I never know when I start working if that's what is actually going to go into my project, but I just wanted to also show you, if you are one of my American friends, then you're familiar with Hobby Lobby, and this is just a large hole crystal barrel bead or cylindrical faceted barrel bead, and I just had it in my stash. It was probably 60% off of the $4.99, so very inexpensive. And I don't even know what these little rondelles are. I think everybody has those in their stash if they make jewelry, but I just sort of liked adding in the white and the crystal, just a little, you know, an extra color. So let's jump into this beautiful little project. I'm going to start with these really cool crimp ends. I have a little mess here in this dish, but I gathered everything up in one dish. I have these really cool crimpable cord ends that you can use them on leather or cord, and they're really easy to use. Let me give myself a nice fresh cut here. You just fit this over your cord end, and this one is, let me show you how these come, and I'll put a link for these in the description box. There are 3 sizes, a small, medium, and large. I'm not sure what the millimeter is. Let me see if this fits a bit better, because you can just glue these and not crimp them, or you can just crimp them, or you can glue and crimp. So yeah, the one that my cord is in between 2 sizes. This one won't fit over, and this one has a little bit too much space. So I am going to use my gel Loctite super glue and just get a tiny little bead flowing, and just put, you know, I don't want this to ooze out all over me and my pliers and my fingers and everything. So I'm just going to do that. And now fit it inside just for a little extra security because it's a bracelet closure. Okay, and now I'm going to come with my regular chain nose pliers. It's so cool that they fit right in the middle, but you have to be careful with how aggressive you are. I'm going to just gently close this, and I'm going to flip it around and do the other side. You can break these. If you're really aggressive with crimping this middle section, you can snap it right in half. Ask me how I know, because I have actually done that. So I'm more careful with them now. But I'm just going to go from side to side until I feel like I really have it smashed on there, and there's a couple little dots of glue, so I'm sure that is going to be nice and secure. Okay, you could also, for this project, you could also do your cord ends at the very end of the project so that you could string from both sides if you wanted to, but I'm happy with my little end being there, and I am going to start my project. So I just have to think for a minute. I usually like to take a moment and think about what I want to do as far as my bead pattern. One thing I do know is that I'm going to be doing knots along the length of this cord, and inside the knots I'm going to tie a jump ring, and this is going to be a charm bracelet, so the knots will be my stations, I guess, for my charms. So let's make some jump rings first. I did make these really tiny. These are like 4mm jump rings, and so I'm going to attach this to my charms that I make, and then attach those charms to the jump rings that are inside the knots. Does that make sense? Let me just show you. So I'm going to take a piece of 20 gauge wire. I have a nice blunt cut there. This is my favorite bail making plier. I think I'm going to do this larger mandrel. I like this because of the handle. It's ergonomically correct for my hand, but also when I'm making jump rings, I'm unencumbered. It doesn't matter which way I start wrapping, I can, you know, make a nice long coil. So just get a loop in there and just start a coil. And I'm probably just going to coil the whole length of this wire. If I have jump rings left over, they go into a little jar, and I already have jump rings for another project, and I really love making my own because a lot of times they close better than the commercially made ones, but also I'm using the Soft Flex craft wire that has an anti-tarnish coating, and so I don't have to worry about brushing anti-tarnish finish over the jump rings or any of that. Okay, my coil is done. You could actually, you do a nice tight coil, you could actually make a bead out of that. It's so pretty. So I'm just going to come with the flush side of my cutters to where I first, I'll turn it this way because that's where I ended, and I'm just going to snip right where I started my coil, and that's my first jump ring. And let's see, I'll just put them out here, and I'm just going to snip all the way straight up this coil. Try to do one at a time. Don't be in too much of a hurry. And so let's also just go ahead and make a couple of my charms that are going to go on my charm bracelet. And I am literally just going to play with what I have pulled out here for charms. I know that I want to do one of these with a little gold ball in the middle. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to start out by just making a few and set them aside, so when I start knotting, I know, I'll know what I have to work with and then what I still need to make. So look at that. That's so pretty. So that's going to be my first charm. My ball head pins that I have are very fine, so I am going to wire wrap all my charms, which is why I made these little small jump rings, because I'm just going to go ahead and close up the loops, and I'm going to make them pretty small. I'm going to come down on the tip of my pliers so that this loop is really small, and just do a normal wire wrapped loop, a nice neat one. And just wrap down to my beads. My ball head pins are really fine. They're great for this kind of a thing, but I actually need the pliers to do the wrapping because the wire is pretty fine. Just get everything straight. Snip and tuck. I don't want anything sharp. I don't want to see it. I certainly don't want to feel it. Okay, so there's my first little charm ready to go. And let's see, let's go to a flower charm. Let's see what I want to do here. That's kind of fun. Maybe. But you know what? I think I'm going to keep this really simple. I think it's just going to be a little flower charm just like that. So same thing, get a hold of my beads, 90-degree bend, come here with my round nose pliers, bring the wire over the top barrel, rotate it, bring this wire around, make sure everything is centered, and then wrap down to my flower bead. So I'm just going to do a few charms to get me started, and we'll come back to the knotting, and then if I need more charms, I'll pause and make more. Okay, you guys, I have been making charms for about 15 minutes, and this is what I have. They're not even attached to the bracelet yet, and I just love them. So I mixed in all the elements in the box, alternating my white, the green, the raspberry pink, and I did bring in these little tiny little disc gold plated spacers that I just had left over from a box a few months ago, and they're all wire wrapped and they are just gorgeous. So let me show you what this is looking like. So I started by tying a knot and tying my jump ring right in, and then, as I said, with those tiny little jump rings that I made, adding my charm. And then I love how this large whole crystal barrel bead shows my cord through a little bit, and then these spacers fit right on the cord. And so here's the plan. I am going to do every other one of these to be flanked with the rose spacer beads, or rose donut beads, but every single knot on my design is going to have a jump ring tied into it. And then I'm going to start with adding one charm to every single jump ring through the whole length of the bracelet. And then, if you know anything about charm bracelets, you generally add to them. So I'm going to see what it looks like then. But the way that I've left a little space in between my bead stations here, I can even come back if I want to really fill this up with charms. I can come back and add charms in between these stations. I can also fill up my jump rings. So I'll show you how I'm going. I'm not even sure. I'm going to probably use the entire length of this and then maybe put an extender chain on, but I'll show you exactly what I've been doing. So I'm going to leave about that much space. I'm not even using my knotting tweezer on this because I think this is cotton cord, but I'm just using my fingers to like work the knot. Whoops, I forgot my jump ring. Okay, that's good that I caught myself before I tighten it down. So every single knot in this design does get one of my jump rings. So I'm just gonna put it over the loop and just make sure it's closed really well. But I'm also turning my jump rings so that the opening of the jump ring is hidden inside the knot before I pull it really tight. I don't know when I wear it if it's gonna stay like that, but that's what I'm doing. And I even considered going back with just a dot of beater's glue in every knot when I'm all done. I'll see how it looks, but I have it. I just worked it down and just let that jump ring land where it will, and then just tighten it really tight. And so those jump rings are now ready for charms. And then I'm just going to feed on one of my large whole crystal barrel beads. And so, like I said, I don't want this to be too metal heavy, and I still want to see the pink. So I'm going to do every other one of these bead stations with the roses. So this is one that does not get roses. Oh, I'm about to do it again. Forget. I'm so used to knotting and not putting anything in the knot. I'm just going to make sure my jump ring is closed really well. You can feed it on this way, or you can open it and put it over. But just want to remember to add a jump ring before I do each knot. And it's just an overhand knot, super simple. Anybody can do this. And I'm just going to work it down to the crystal bead. So the knots also kind of act like a spacer. And I'm just turning it so that the opening of my jump ring is inside the knot. It may or may not stay, but I'm going to do it. Okay. Pull it really tight, and that's what we have. And so then I'm taking these little small jump rings that I made. I like doing this because it adds movement, extra movement to the charm, and it's going to be pretty random. I think next up I want some white. Okay, and then let's pick one for the next jump ring. That's open pretty well. Let's see. Let's do a green leaf. Okay, next jump ring. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty and so cool. All right, I am going to keep going like that. Let me do another knot here, and I'm going to add my, whoops, I keep wanting to forget that jump ring. I'm going to add my charms as I go because it will kind of give me a sense if I think it's full enough or too full, or if I want to make some more. So I'm just going to do that same thing again, begin my next bead station. This one will be one of these, and one of these. So got my jump ring in there, and I'm just going to wiggle it down. Just want that little tiny bit of space in between just to see. I love the color of this cord, and it's so nice and chunky. So I'm just doing it like that and pull that knot in there. And then I'm going to thread on one of my rose disc spacers, and I might have to give myself a little angled cut here. That will make stringing a lot easier. Okay, and then I need a jump ring before I do the knot. Just get my jump ring out there so it's in the middle of the knot. And just wiggle it down to that bead station. And I'm just going to turn it like I've been doing so that my open part of my jump ring is tied inside the knot. Maybe it will stay, let's hope. And pull it really tight. And so I am just going to keep going like that, adding my charms, deciding what comes next, and then I'll decide if I need to make some more charms or some more jump rings as I go. And I'll show you what I was planning to do for my extender chain. I'll see where after all my knots are done, because knotting does eat up a lot of your cord length. So I'm going to try it on. I was hoping for this to wrap around my wrist twice, but when all the knots are in there, I don't know how it's going to land. So what I have out here are some of my favorite jump rings. They are gold filled, very thick gauge, very high quality. They're diamond cut. And so what I was going to do with these is connect them and create this sparkly little extender chain with these. So I was going to put a few together, but I'm saying this now because when I finish my knotting, if I feel like I just want to have like a whole section of chain that's longer than just an extender chain, because I do like to add in chain to a textile bracelet. There's something really pretty about the combination of the metal and the Czech glass and the crystal and, you know, just all those combinations. But that's what I was planning to do, is make a little extender chain to connect to one end of my bracelet. But like I said, my length is going to be determined by how much I have left when I do all of these knots, and I may pull out like an actual length of chain. So I'm going to keep going, just adding in my charms that I made, and I'll come back in and show you what I decide to do, if I decide to make more, or what I decide to do. So just be a second for you. I'm going to continue connecting and knotting. Okay, you guys, I am all done. I've cleaned up my mess and I've worked out how I'm going to finish the bracelet. So let's have a look at it first. I have just added in all the charms. I just continued with that same pattern that I showed you, alternating everything really. And as I suspected, I did have to go in my stash and get a length of chain instead of doing the jump ring connection for an extender chain. I suspected. I've done miles and miles of knotted jewelry, and I know how much cording the knots take up. So I really did suspect that I was going to have to do that. So now this is a wrap bracelet that goes around twice, and I am going to do this end the same way that we started out, with a little dot of this glue and putting, where is it, right here, putting my little crimp tube. So this is exactly what we did on the other side. Okay, so now I am going to take this little component that I showed you at the beginning of the project, and that's going to attach to the very last link on my chain here. I have a thing, I cannot stand an extender chain or like the end of a chain to be empty. I feel like it even needs, even if it's just a little ball, you know, or a tiny little 3mm bead, I always feel like it needs an embellishment. But for this bracelet, that looks amazing. And now I do have one more thing that I want to do here. So let me show you. Let me get my little jump ring tool on, and I'll show you on this end. So this is where, right at the end between my crimpable cord end and my first knot, I just put one of those tiny jump rings right around the circumference of that cord and added a charm, and I'm going to do the same thing on this end. Do have to open, these jump rings fit perfectly over the cord, but to get it over you have to open it pretty wide. So that was just I don't know, my final embellishment for that little space. And so I still have so much left from this kit. I mean, there is so many of these beads left. So I could, you know, I could do like a coordinating bracelet. I could string a necklace with what's left. There's so much that I could do. I was even thinking, if I wanted to make this more full, there are so many more connection points. As I said at the beginning, adding more to each jump ring, adding charms in between, but it's got a nice weight to it. It's not super heavy, but it does have a nice weight to it. And so I think I'm gonna leave it like this for now. And so what I did do with those beautiful diamond cut gold filled jump rings is attach my clasps with it. These are so good, such good quality, that I have a hard time finding the opening, and when you close it really well, it looks like a solid ring. So I'm just going to put that on there, and this is also a gold filled lobster claw clasp. It's from an assortment that I have that I just love. I've reordered it so many times. I actually had, I'll tell you, disclose, I actually had just taken a regular lobster claw clasp out of my stash, and why it's in this dish is because I coated it with anti-tarnish coating, and I was going to just use a regular lobster claw clasp on this. But to be honest, this is so much prettier than I thought it was going to be. So I upped my quality a little bit to a gold-filled lobster clasp, and this chain is solid brass and e-coated for anti-tarnish. So as this was unfolding before my eyes, I just felt like I needed to pull out some even nicer findings. So I will take my Permalac anti-tarnish coating and brush all of these little gold-plated spacers, and I will brush my cord end caps because they're just fashion jewelry. They're beautiful. I love to work with them, but when I've done such a beautiful piece, I do want it, you know, I do want it to last. So I am going to wrap this around. Oh, I have a lot of bracelets on with what I was wearing today. And so usually what I do with a bracelet like this is lay the chain over my wrist, and that gives me control. as to how I wrap. And then when I come around, this lobster claw clasp can grab onto any link on this chain, so I can make it a little bit tighter.
Oh my gosh,
I can make it a little
this
bit
is
shorter.
So gorgeous.
I love this. This is kind of between a cha-cha bracelet and a charm bracelet and a wrap bracelet, mixed media. What is this bracelet? I don't know, but I love it. And if you're a fidgeter, if you like ever feel that you like when you're in a waiting room or waiting in line that you want to fidget, this is perfect for that, because every little charm is a little bit different than the next one, and there's a lot to look at. It reminds me of a bracelet that I had when my son was little, and he'd be in his little shopping cart seat and fussy. I had a bracelet like this, and I used to just let him play with it, just give him my arm, and he would just play and play with all the charms on my arm. But it's so really pretty, and it's fully adjustable, because with the chain added in and this lobster claw, it can clasp onto any single one of these links, so I can make it more dramatic. And what I love about a bracelet like this is for travel or like a weekend away, you can very easily turn this into a necklace, and it can be front closure. You can turn it off to the side, like you can make a shorter, like almost like a choker necklace or like an 18-inch necklace. But it's so pretty, and this was so fun. I love a knotting technique, but this just came to a different level altogether because of adding all the charms and the jump rings in the knots. It's such a cool project, and like I said, let me just show you. I have so much left to work with. So as I said at the beginning, I'll put links in the description box to anything that I've pulled in from my stash, definitely links to the Kraftika company, and I'll put links to my first video that I did, because I get both of these boxes from the Czech Republic, and they're absolutely wonderful. They do a great job curating the collections every month, but the beads are such high quality and truly inspiring. I thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody's safe and well and having fun on your beading mats. See you in the next video.